Okay, this is a problem from Midpoint-Distance, number 4. This is a pretty nasty problem because it has a lot of fractions, so we're going to have to do a lot of fraction work. But I still am going to use the midpoint formula, which is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2, which is really, I'm just taking the average of the x values and the average of the y values. Okay, so for my x coordinates, 4 1/2 plus 2 1/4, all divided by 2. The whole numbers are easy. I know 4 plus 2 is 6. And I know I'm dividing by 2. Now, how do I add fractions? 1/2 plus 1/4. Well, in order to add fractions, I have to have common denominators. When I multiply or divide fractions, things work out pretty easy, but when I add or subtract, very specific rules. Must have common denominators. So I'm going to turn that 1/2 into 2/4 by multiplying the top and the bottom by 2. And 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. So now I have 6 3/4 divided by 2. Now, dividing this by 2, the whole number is easy. 6 divided by 2 is 3. But how do I take 3/4 and divide it by 2? Well, dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2, and now it looks a lot easier. So my final midpoint for my x-coordinate is 3 3/8. My y-coordinate, I'm going to take a different approach, and both methods work. I'm going to turn these into improper fractions by multiplying the whole number with the denominator and adding the numerator. So I'm doing 4 times 4 plus 3. And then on the left one I'm doing 4 times 2 plus 3, which turns those numbers into negative 19/4 minus 11/4. And now you'll notice common denominators, so I'm just dealing with the tops, and I get negative 30 divided by 4. Now I could simplify this and do all that, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. How do I divide all that by 2? Just like you did on the left, the same as all I do is multiply by 1/2. So I get negative 30 over 4 times 1/2 is negative 30 over 8. And now I'm going to turn this back into a mixed fraction. Okay, 8 goes into negative 30 about 3 times with the remainder of 6, so now I have negative 3 6/8. And now I'm going to reduce that 6/8, and I get negative 3 3/4.